Everybody, and happy Friday to you. Welcome to today's Daily Distinction. Hope you're doing great. And whether you're watching replay or live, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for joining me throughout the week. Really, really glad that you are here. Thank you so much for that. And as we said yesterday, sharing is caring. If you're here, please share. Just take a second, hit the share button. Hey, Darcy, thank you very much. And glad that you were here. Hope everything is good in Fishers. I know I was checking. You guys had some storms, I think, rolling through there. So glad glad you're all right. Glad everything's good. So thank you for being here. And again, that reminder, really appreciate you sharing. And by the way, thanks again to Brian Kelm, who is our top sharer of the group. Ted Stark, always great to see you. Happy Friday to you up in Minneapolis. Hope things are going well in the Twin Cities area. Hope you're doing great. Thank you for being here. We've got an important topic to talk about today. And it's a topic that, man, I'm telling you, we don't talk about it in business. And the reason is because it is a difficult topic. And I'm going to tell you right now, it is one that we don't hear about in a lot of business conversations, and that's because it's emotion. It is emotion. How do we talk about emotion? In business, we want to talk about efficiency, and we want to talk about other things that that seem to be quantifiable. You know, there used to be this thing talked about in management, said you can only manage what you can measure. I don't believe that. I really don't. I don't believe that. Can we measure things in personal relationships? I mean, can we measure things? If you've got a teenage child, do you say, well, this week, the likability factor of my teenage child has gone down 8.3%. I mean, we would never think about applying those kinds of metrics to the relationships that we have with our kids or that we have with our partners or spouse. Our significant other. I mean, we would never apply that type of measurement in a personal situation like that. So why do we think it's the only thing that works in a business relationship? Hey, don't get me wrong. We got to have our metrics. We absolutely do. I've been accused of that, of not, of being overboard when it comes to analyzation and metrics and things like that, of not appreciating it. And I do appreciate it. I just think the pendulum has gone too far. And I think those lines like we can only manage what we measure is kind of out of control, because the things that bind us to customers are the same things in many ways that bind us in our personal relationships. And those are exactly the things that you can't put a number on. I'll tell you more about that in just a second, but I do want to remind you, part of the reason we're here is because of the iconic inner circle. If you haven't joined, why the heck not? First month's on me. It's free. Join the iconic inner circle and sample the programs that we have there. The membership is not limited simply because the first month's free. You got programs on how to craft and tell a distinctive story, on how you're more effective virtually, on what does it take to create personal distinction, even a weekly distinction session on what you need to do, the specifics, assignments. It's really precise and specific on what you need to do to be iconic. So check it out today. It's the iconic inner circle. As I said, first month's on me. Try it free. Go to iconicinnercircle.com. So this whole aspect about emotion it's so significant, and it's so important. Donovan, great to see you. That what we have to do is to think about why it is so critical for our business. One of the things we need to understand about emotion is that it doesn't necessarily, I think part of where business people get turned off when you start talking about emotion is they think of the extremes, right? It's not that we want our customers sobbing and hugging us. Many situations, that's totally inappropriate. It's not that we think that we need to put on a floor show so that everything becomes a laugh riot. It's not that either. What it means is there is a connection that we have with our customers. Or if you have people working with you, it's a connection that you have with your team, with your employees. And that connection transcends individual transactions. Okay, let me repeat that. It is that what we do is that something about doing business with us transcends the individual transaction. So there's a restaurant, bar, pub kind of thing. Nice. I mean, it's not an elegant place to dine, but it's kind of the locals place over here by us. And I guarantee you, Tammy and I can walk in and we can see Jesse or Donna or Yanni at the bar. And we will walk in and immediately 2 wine glasses are set at the bar and a glass of our favorite wine is poured in front of us. Maybe that means we're drinking too much wine. But what it really means is they've taken the time to get to know us and they call us by our names and they know what we prefer. Now you say, oh, well, of course, it's a neighborhood place. They can get to know you. What if we're doing business online? There are so many ways to personalize. As a matter of fact, if you're in the Iconic Inner Circle, we've got a program on that. That's one of the weekly programs is going into that in a much more intensive manner about how you do that and what you need to be doing. It's a problem. Have you ever had somebody call you by the wrong name? Or in a situation where someone and you remember their name and they should remember you. And for some reason, they're not able to come up with it. So they kind of bluff. My dad used to do that all the time in the grocery store. My sister Shelly and I used to joke that there were evidently a lot of people in our community named again, because that was the word my dad always used when he couldn't remember somebody's name. Hey, great to see you again. So, and hey, I'm not the world's greatest with names either. I'm pretty bad at it. But if it is a customer, isn't that something that we should remember, that we should recall, and that we should be bringing to the forefront over and over? That's a little thing, but the little things become the big things. Knowing somebody's name is part of emotion. Knowing their preferences is emotion. Many years ago, I was speaking. I'll never forget the event. I was speaking in Florida for a meeting from Merrill Lynch, and they had an outside person that was on right before me as the outside speaker. And I'll never. I cannot find where I'd written down the speaker's name. But I'll never forget what he said. He was a consultant with Accenture, and he was talking about a product that program that Accenture had done. And part of what they were trying to study was, why did the financial services firm UBS have a dominant market share in Europe with high net worth individuals that they didn't enjoy or experience here in the United States? So there was something that UBS financial advisors were doing in Europe that they were not doing in the United States, because the level of investment of individual investors was very high in Europe. The retention was over the moon high in Europe. It was just another league from what they were experiencing here. So Accenture tried to study what were they doing there that they weren't doing here? What was the difference? Was it the advice? Was it the particular stocks they were putting them in, or the investments they were encouraging to make? They found it was a high degree of emotional connectivity. For example, one of the things that they would observe when someone came in the first time is, how did they drink their coffee? So that the next time that particular client came in, they would place in front of them a coffee cup with the coffee already exactly the way they liked it. Why? Aren't you this way? If somebody knows how I drink my coffee, it kind of says to me they know me. It says to me they've cared enough to remember that. So the almost subliminal point that they were making was, if we know how you drink your coffee, we care about you, and we're going to be great to deal with. That's an emotional connection. So the question then for us is, how do we do that? Hey, here's my friend Ernest from Texas. Good to see you, Ernest. Hope you're doing great. That's a fundamental question. How do we do that? So let me give you just a couple ideas, but like I said, there's many, many more of these available in the Iconic Inner Circle in our program there. But first off, it's what we said there. It's the name. Secondly, it's understanding what customers really want. And look, nobody wants to go to a slow drive-through. Nobody wants to wait longer than they have to. Well, that's one of our challenges right here in Las Vegas right now, which is a whole nother issue. But they can't get enough people to work. And so because they can't get people to work, then there's not enough service in the restaurants and there's not enough, a lot of issues involved there. But at the end of the day, as a customer, regardless of what the issue is, nobody wants to wait. But yet at the same time, we don't want service to be so fast that it's surly, right? I mean, even if there's a server out there doing a great job, we don't want them to throw the plate in front of us. So whatever your business is, and I know it's highly diverse of the people that's watching this, no matter what your business is, what do your customers really want? How do you know? Have you asked them as opposed to making an assumption? And how do you enhance that? And Donovan, you make a great point. It's that they want a great relationship with who they buy from. But more deeply is, what do they consider a great relationship? You know, one of the things we found in the financial services groups that we work with is that some of the most successful advisors are the ones saying things like, for example, how do you want me to contact you? Simple question, right? But how do you want me to contact you? Because there's some folks that want email, and there's some folks that want to come into your office and talk to you face to face. There's some folks that want to, want a text, and there's some folks who just want a phone call. And so how you communicate with them, why not let them decide what that is? Look, at the end of the day, what I'm suggesting to you is pretty simple. And that is, it comes down to emotion. How do you make emotional connections that transcend individual transactions? Ernest, you're near and dear to my heart. I like my coffee with Woodford, and the dealership that does that for me always have my business. I love it. I love it. And no, I'm kidding. This is just coffee, but it's Friday, and that will change a little later on this afternoon. Think about how we are connecting emotionally with our customers, our clients, our prospects. It makes all the difference in the world. Hey, thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing this. I appreciate those that are helping us build our audience and are sharing this. Check out iconicinnercircle.com. Hey, Jerry, before we go, got to catch up with what Jerry says. The method of communication got to be one that works for the customer, not the supplier or salesperson. Bingo. Exactly right. Exactly right. Because, and one of the things these financial advisors, Jerry, are finding, there are more CFPs, certified financial planners. There's more CFPs over 70 in the United States than under 30. And so part of the problem is they think, the older advisor thinks the way they communicate is the way that everybody wants to communicate. And when they started asking this, they found it was very, very different. So what we have to do is, as Jerry just said, it is find out the method of communication that works for the customer, not just for the supplier or the salesperson. That's part of what we do. Knowing them and understanding them and dealing with them is a significant way of how we create emotion. Hey, thanks for being here for Daily Distinction. I look forward to seeing you again on Monday. I'll put up a replay over the weekend, by the way, in case you want to check that out. But I'll be here live again on Monday. See you then with the next Daily Distinction. Have a great weekend, everybody. I'll talk to you soon.